Haven last night. We're going to talk a bit more about that later in the show, I believe.
Well, it's entirely up to you, but for
Oh,
now,
you want to
though.
talk about it now? Not
Well, no,
yet.
if you want to talk about it at all, but first of all, more pressing issues. We've got ourselves Mr. Bill Carne down the line. Good morning, Bill.
Good morning. I have to admit, I was a bit stunned. I wonder who was the presenter this morning with that rather natty moustache.
Oh, I know. We've been taking the mick out of him all week. Oh my
All
goodness
week.
me. Yeah, all week. But,
I think,
it's for a very good reason. That's all I can
good.
say.
I thought he
Yes.
looked like an Italian Lothario, I must admit.
Hey, what's the matter with you? And other strange accents available. Bill, it is time for the Pembrokeshire Sports update, and it's been another busy week in sport. It always is a busy week in sport here in Pembrokeshire. It's quite remarkable.
Yeah, it's always made even busier by the fact that there's now indoor sport like the cricket, and there's other things that are going on. I'm going to have a look one week at the wall climbing as well in Haverfordwest.
Oh, wow.
That's fascinating. Yeah, you won't get me up there, but you don't have it. You fix up
yeah.
to have a climb. And Gina,
Yeah, oh no, I wouldn't go up. I'd just be down the bottom and laugh at him.
And Gina, can I just say in starting, the week before you excelled with your 100% record for being a tipster. Would you like to know how you got on last week?
I would actually, because I thought that Langham were going to beat St David's, wasn't it? That's what I tipped.
That's right. Yeah. Well done. The final score was St David's 45, Langham 15. So you weren't far.
Oh. Oh dear. So you don't want to follow me for tips anymore after that. Hey, mind you, the best of people who know in the know, they can predict and get it totally wrong. So I'll see what I predict this week, and we'll find out next week. There you go.
Well, we've got a real top of the table poser for you to decide today. And Tom can have a bash as well. So loads going on, Tom. Loads going on.
And if we look at kind of the JD Cymru Premier League first and different cup games that are going on, Haverfordwest County Bluebirds, their season, they thought they had turned it around, and then they go away to Caerphilly and it doesn't go to plan.
That's right. I mean, that's a really big blow for them. I've interviewed Rob Edwards ready for Monday, and he said on Twitter it was the blackest day in 2.5 years he's been there. But he's really positive, I have to say. I spoke to him earlier on this week, and he was saying, but it's onwards and upwards. We've got a battle on. We can't sign at the moment, but we will sign in the next window. And he partially blames injuries and things, but he's very honest about what has gone on. So tonight they're playing at Aberystwyth, and I'm going, so that's nice.
Oh, nice.
I've had a pass from Mrs. Carne to go up to Mid Wales. I'm going with Colin and Karen Fawcett and
nice.
Jackie Wilson, who were the parents of Ben Fawcett and Jack Wilson, of course. So I'm looking forward to that tonight, but it's a big game, Tom. Aberystwyth traditionally rivals, and they're below Haverfordwest. So, so we're hoping for a win there. There's a bus going up with supporters as well, so that's nice. Can I just test you two for a minute? Gina can join in this. Gina, do you know what colours Aberystwyth play in?
Oh, heck no. I'm going to say red and yellow.
Tom?
I know that there's a green in there. I know there's green.
Yeah, green and black, not bad.
Oh, there we are.
There you go.
I was close.
Yeah. Tom, where do they play?
Aberystwyth.
The ground is called Park Avenue.
Yes. In fact, I used to know a friend who used to have there's apartments that overlook the football ground. So if you're lucky enough, you get to watch football every week. It's fantastic.
Yeah, or unlucky enough if you don't particularly fancy watching the team close to the bottom of the JD Cymru.
That's a very good point.
Yeah, they're known as the Seasiders, and they will battle tonight. They're a battle inside. So, interestingly, if you remember, Haverfordwest lost to Tapswell. We've got to mention Hakin United last week. I know you probably mentioned on Monday, but Hakin United 4, Tapswell 1. Brilliant performance. Well done, Scott Davis. Goes by Bevan, Woodrow, Walsh, and Justin Skinny Harding. What a win. But now, guess where they got to go next?
Where are they going next?
Holywell Town.
With who they've played before, haven't they?
Aye, but that's a heck of a trip, isn't it? And of course, it's away. I think it's a conspiracy, but that's only me.
But I was going to mention Haken with you this morning as well, because we've got the Bluebirds. They play in the JD Cymru Premier League. We've got Haken, who play in the Pembrokeshire League. They won it last season under circumstances. They're going to be tipped to be the first or second again this season. Are they showing up, some of those senior sides that are in the JD Cymru Premier League? And should they, a bit like the old Pembroke football team, should they be making a jump and going into the national setup?
Well, at one time, Haverfordwest were joined by Pembroke Borough and Milford United in the Welsh League. That fell apart because of finance and other things. But Haken United are a class above everybody else at the moment. But that leads me on perhaps to my next point. That I think they'll probably go into the West Wales Premier eventually. They're a fine side. They really are. And they've got everything right in that club now. It's a class act at the moment. So leads me on to ask you and Gina if we can talk about football next time, if that's okay with you locally. The big match this weekend, Haken United versus Goodwick United at the Observatory Field.
Oh, rivals.
Well, I almost wish I was going because, I've got other things, COVID jab and boxing tomorrow. But in one way, I'm glad I'm not, because it's always so ferocious, so full of action, and sometimes incident-packed. I'm hoping it'll be a good game and the better team win. Gina, I'm going to ask you, come on, who's going to win that?
Well, it's definitely going to be Haken. They're at home, yeah.
Oh, well,
so
she's gone definitely as well.
Yeah,
she's gone definite, Bill.
Definite. I am a definite on that one, and you've just picked them up as well.
Yeah, and you like green and black, don't you? That's two of your colours. So
yeah, we are.
I know that's a criteria, Tom, were you going for with that?
Oh, I don't know. Well, because they're going to be at home, I think it's going to be really well attended. Goodwick are going to have to come just completely composed, and I think I'm going to have to edge with Haken on this one because of that home advantage. The odds is going to be full because it always is.
I didn't tell you that recently, over the last few years, Goodwick have had a good record there. So I'm going to sit in the fence and go for a draw, but I know it's not.
Ah, Bill, how can you do this?
And crikey. And in the other games in the division, Clarby are home to Fishguard, Kilgetty entertain Penna Robbins, Neyland, who are bottom at the moment, battling hard. They play at home to Carew. St Clair's are playing Merlin's Bridge, and St Ishmael's entertain Moncton. That's 10th versus 3rd. So lots of football going on for people to get out. Don't sit at home. Get out and watch a bit of local footy, yeah?
Yeah, go out there, definitely, and support it and get involved. And that's only Division 1. There's 5 divisions here in Pembrokeshire. There's football and a standard that's good enough for you as well. It's brilliant. And also, something that we don't really mention, there's also walking football and things available in Pembrokeshire as well. So there's plenty of ways to remain active.
Yeah, I still don't know what street football is. I'm going to find that out. But walking football, I've seen, I was tempted. The only danger with that for some old fogey like me is there are some 45-year-olds playing it who still can play at a good level of football.
Yeah.
But you're a proof of this football for all, Tom, because you played in the lower divisions and still enjoy it there. So I'd say go out and support the team. Get on the committee or do something. Run the line.
Definitely. And moving away from football then, let's have a quick look, fast forward, because this will lead us in nicely to the next thing we're going to be talking about. You've already mentioned you've caught up with Rob Edwards following that disappointing defeat against Thomas, Bluebirds v Bluebirds, but you've also caught up with two gentlemen from the indoor cricket.
Yeah, Ian Milsom, who runs a chippy in Neyland, the Haven chippy, in Milford Haven, sorry, never forgive me that, and David Haynes, who's the head of Green Hills School. I got a good link with both of them because I taught Ian, and David came into teaching and became my assistant head, went on to St David's as head, and is doing a brilliant job there. They're both fantastic supporters of indoor cricket. They both play outdoors still, but they both love that, and they're a great advocate. I watched the games on Wednesday. It is a tonic. They weren't the best teams. They're the teams in the second division, but lovely to see, and the great camaraderie there as well. Terrific, yeah.
Oh, I like that.
I'm sorry, sorry to interrupt. And Fraser's going to be talking to Richard Harris, who's captain the Welsh veterans, and they've just come back from the World Cup appearances in Australia. So and he's going to get we've got a wide range as usual, yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, it makes me smile. You mentioned the indoor cricket there, and there's Pembrokeshire vets I have heard over the last 18 months since doing the sports show is that they have a laugh. They're there to enjoy themselves.
Yeah, but they treat it very seriously. I can tell you, after Christmas, they will start training indoors, ready to play outdoors in cricket this year. And they do a lot for charity. And yeah, they're great advert for it, really. I have to say that. Yeah.
They go here, there, and everywhere as well, don't they? Like
Yeah.
you say, they travel just to Australia now.
Yeah, that's the Welsh team, but some of them play in that Welsh team, Gina. I think there's probably 7 or 8 who play for one of the Welsh teams because they started over 50s and go through. Some are over 70s now and still playing, and playing jolly well. In fact, there was a gentleman called Stuart Carpenter playing for him this week. He came to this area. He hit the hardest 6 I think I've ever seen in indoor cricket. I ducked, not thinking there was a net in front of me because it came at such a speed. But yeah, good.
Oh, fantastic. And of course, the women have got their own indoor league as well, going from strength to strength.
Yeah, they played on Wednesday night. I spoke to Sam Rossiter after. I've got all the scores on Pembrokeshire Sport today and the scorers. In this week, there were 2 losses for Pembroke A. They're new into it. That's no surprise, but they typify it. It's fantastic. They enjoy their cricket. They enjoy the social side as a group, and it's lovely to see them in action. They lost 2, but they were big wins for Hook. They won twice. And there was 1 apiece for Burton and Carew. Carew are new in as well, and they caused a bit of a shock because they beat Burton.
Oh, wow.
And it's good for cricket. And one of the key players for them there was Kate Chandler Hall. She had runs and wickets. Her husband, Brian, plays for Carew, first team. Gina knows him.
Yeah.
And their 3 sons, who are all mid-teens, are brilliant. And absolutely fantastic. And Kate's brother, Adam, is also a very good cricketer. So there's a line. And the other one who played well, amongst others, was Gemma Phillips, who plays for Hook now. But her father, Andrew, and her uncle, Stephen, played for Haverfordwest, as did Grandad Hughie. And Stephen was the first to score 100 in the bowl final. So the ladies are following on from their cricket families, which I think is great.
That's brilliant, and it's just great for the survival of any local club and any sport they here in Pembrokeshire that it is passed down and there's still enjoyment there as well. Moving back outdoors, then, Bill, we've to rugby, and it's back to that competition where local clubs travel miles, 100. I'm looking at one fixture here, and it's 50 miles away that one team's going.
My hackles are rising, Tom, soon as you say it. Yeah, everyone's playing in that. There's a Championship Cup Division 1, 2 and 3. They haven't zoned it, which means you can travel anywhere within reason once the draw goes on a bit. But Narberth home to Pontypool in that, so that's a massive tie there, isn't it? And
that's
Narberth
huge.
have been playing really, really well. In Division 1, Tondy entertained Whitland. That's a trip. Pembroke travel to Birchgrove, and Crymych are at Bonham. And if you ask these teams, a lot of them would rather be playing zoned first, and then if the top team from the zone go out. In Division 2, Milford Haven travel to Pyle, Tenby United to Resolven, and Fishguard and Goodwick are at Morrison. So if you look, all of those teams other than Narberth are playing away. It costs £600 for a bus at least, and there's no revenue in for the clubs. And if a team loses its first game of 3, and then they got 2 away games, I can guess what's going to happen. I don't blame them in a way. And Division 3 Cup, the Quins are home to Binia, Neyland entertain Larne, Haverfordwest go to Cwm Llynfell, and Cardigan are at Taibach. So that's the rugby. There's lots going on, but not much in Pembrokeshire, I have to say. I think 4 out of 12 are in Pembrokeshire this week. Good luck to all the boys, and good luck to them in progressing.
And in fact, if I put this comment back on the screen, we've got Helen Marie listening. She's saying, "Boarded Tom, Gina, and Bill. She'll be watching that Cwm Llynfell match with Haverfordwest with a keen eye, no doubt.
Yes,
with that being her village, her town.
Yeah.
And go on, Bill.
No, I was going to say that's what's lovely. You go to any of these grounds, and it's not just the fellas; it's women there, it's kids kicking a ball on the beyond the try line, and that's how it should be. It's fantastic, really.
It should be. And then sticking with rugby, then you said that Tenby United are off to Resolven. Well, there's someone from Tenby who's celebrating quite a landmark.
Yeah, last week Luke Deadman, he's been playing for Tenby for, I suppose, perhaps well over a decade. He has to be, because last week when he ran out onto the pitch, it was his 250th game.
Gosh.
For one club,
Isn't that
that's what
amazing?
I like to see, that
Yeah.
loyalty, isn't it? And he's a big, strong boy. He plays in the second row. He's managed to stay clear of injury. He's an inspirational skipper, and everybody in the club thinks he's a top man, and so do I. He's an example of loyalty, commitment, and fitness in my eyes. I take my hat off to him. Yeah,
That's fantastic. I've just noticed Tenby nickname is also the Seaside, is not to be
yeah,
confused with
same as
Aberystwyth.
Aberystwyth. Yeah, yeah.
That's
Well,
amazing.
Saundersfoot are known as that in the cricket as well, funnily enough.
Yeah.
Very original.
And then also, what I love about rugby is that people often epitomise rugby with the characters of the game. We just mentioned Luke Deadman there, who's loyalty to a T there as well. But the other characters and different talents. One might remember Ridian from X Factor. He was a very talented rugby player who had a bit of a voice. And well, there's someone else from this county who's got a bit of a voice in rugby circles.
If you wanted proof of characters, how could you beat the fact that there was a young fella from Crymych last week playing in an away match which they won brilliantly at Gowerton. He played number 8. It's his last game of the season, not because of injury or holidays or work. In a way, it's work. He's now jetting off to Strasbourg to rehearse for his main role as Tamino in The Magic Flute by Amadeus Mozart.
Goodness.
And yeah, he's going out to France. He's going to be singing the role, which is the key one in the whole opera, in German. He's already done it in the past in Czechoslovakian. And when he comes back in the new year, he'd be singing it in English with the Welsh National Opera in Cardiff, which he'd say is probably another foreign language because he's first language Welsh. But he's a lovely boy. They rope him in every week to have a sing, when they have their sing-song. His specialities for that are Callum Lamb and Delilah. There's a great mix.
Yeah.
Their outside half pushes him all the way into singing. There were 3 or 4 clubs there at Gowerton last week, and they led the singing. It's just fantastic. He's a lovely guy. He's hoping to squeeze a couple of games in when he comes back in about May, but he's got a voice you've never heard the like of. And Tom, there's a chance for you. He actually earned his reputation in Eisteddfodau. So
of course, yes.
That's where he gained his reputation, and he went man of match last week. He's off to the sing opera.
We'll have to get him on the show, Tom.
We're going to have to, aren't we?
Definitely, yeah. We need to know more about this guy. I need to meet him.
I can tell you he'd come on in a flash, and he's a lovely fella, and he is still home. So
he's still home. But Gina, we need to fix up a duet.
Yeah. Gosh, I don't know about that. But I was going to say, talking about Welsh, just touching on that briefly. My goodness, you've taken my crown.
Oh yeah, Bill, you might not even be aware of this.
Yeah.
No.
You know that we got you to record a Welsh phrase for Welsh Phrase of the Week.
Yeah.
Well, Thomas only went and picked you as our Gold Star of the Week last week.
Oh, I'm impressed. Can I just say I did in my day, it was O-level in Welsh. I love the language. I love the canhane, that sort of roll of it. I like words like oherwydd and ambroli, the words with the r. And my grandson, his first language Welsh, so I'm getting better all the time with it again. And when I took my master's degree when I was 50, which is a bit stupid, but I always said I'd learn Welsh after, so that's my next ambition now. I'm going to perhaps go to some Welsh classes.
Oh, fantastic.
Well, they're available, aren't they?
They are. So, in fact, we're going to find out next, actually. So if you're watching this on the Facebook or you're listening on the smart speaker or app, we're going to have Thomas Hopkins joining us very shortly. So, Bill, thank you so much for your time. We've got a song because it's Feel Good Friday. What have you gone for this week?
Well, I watched 2 programs this week on Roy Orbison, who I thought was a great singer, who died at 52, which was an immense loss. He used to sing late on with the Travelling Wilburys, who also had... they were a made-up group. They never performed, only on video. And they had people like George Hamilton and Jeff Lynne, Tom Petty, really top singers. And when he died, this was the last song they made. It's called The End of the Line. It's a family favourite. And the lovely video, when you look at that, I think you've seen it now, is you see a rocking chair rocking with a guitar on it. And that was Roy Orbison's guitar. And that was their tribute to him because they didn't sing after, because they didn't want to sing without him. Bob Dylan was in it. You were talking about, superstars.
Yeah, superstars.
Yeah, the end of the line. The Wilbury.
I love that. And the thing with you, Bill, is it's not just a song. There's always a story behind the song. So I like that very much. Thank you.
I love lyrics, Gina. I'm a decrepit poet at heart, and I love lyrics, and you listen to that, and it's very, very nice.
Oh, well, that's coming up on the way now. Good morning to Stephen Price, who's joined us on Facebook. And so we've got Traffic and Travel on the way, and we've got End of the Line as well. Bill, as ever, thank you so much for your time here this morning.
It's lovely to see you both. Gina, we look forward to seeing whether Goodwick or Higgin win at the Obs.
There we are.
Yes.
Lovely.
There you are. You're listening to Pure West Radio.
Feel Good Friday with Pem's Pay.